taxes, you have to pay your last taxes first. You can't pay your oldest first, so a lot of people don't do that. I talked to the planning board report about mobile home law. I was talking to code enforcement, referred to a couple what mobile homes were going to come in, and he found some issues with the mobile home law, so he is they're working to correct some of the items.
Yeah, and I have your list of what you sent me, and I talked to John Graham 2 times, and he sent me some other things, and some of it is easy to correct, some of it we have to really look at, but it was interesting to me, and this, well, first of all, they changed the law in 2020, and I still get nothing from the county. It never gets mailed to me, ever. So we were never notified there was a change to the New York State law. And that would be helpful if we were notified. Yeah. And secondly, there's 3 definitions now. A factory manufactured home is a modular home.
Right.
A manufactured home is basically either a single wide or double wide. And then a mobile home is anyone before June 15th, 1976. So they declared them all that way. And it's why we have to change the title of the law.
Right.
It can't be called a mobile law.
What the problem is that if it's called manufactured home, it doesn't come under any mobile home law.
No, and that's what we were talking about, is do we even need a law?
For manufacturing, probably not, because that has to go to code enforcement anyway.
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, at our meeting, we're just looking at all this saying, you know, are you trying to write a law that doesn't even exist anymore? Is there anything, you're gonna have a 1-page law that doesn't say much of anything, except here's the definitions or what? So we're gonna discuss it some more, and I'm gonna discuss it some more with John and see, because I don't like laws that shouldn't be there.
Probably a CYA, cover your
Right,
law, is
right.
what they basically are doing.
Right, and then we were going to talk to a couple of these other towns and see what they've done, and I also want to talk to Matt Fuller, because he would know because he deals with those towns. So we didn't get too far.
He's on vacation.
Is he on vacation? I didn't see anything.
He's in Nantucket.
Oh, okay.
Poor
That's a
guy.
place to be.
Okay.
And I got one other thing. Ray Terminals is going to be putting in another small parking lot because they keep having more employees, and as they get these 2 more tanks on and the other things, so they're going to be submitting another whatever we call it to our permit.
Addendum or whatever.
Right, and LA Group is putting together all the stuff for us to see, and then that comes to us. And so I'm glad they're doing really well.
They are. I talked to August up there to get some stuff signed for him. He was telling me how well they're doing. And there's another place putting a propane distribution facility in Kingsbury.
Oh, wow.
But they're just going to homes and stuff, but they are good friends with Ken. And he said, the owner says, they're doing a fantastic job, even better than they ever thought they'd do.
I watched, they'll have like 15 tank cars in there. 2 days later, there won't be any in there, and then there'll be 15 more. I mean, the amount of propane going in and out there is huge. It's just huge. I'm so glad they're doing really well, because the place, to keep that place spotless, I bet you can eat off their parking lot.
I'd rather not.
Yeah.
We fry eggs on it.
It's and they have pretty flowers. They have nice plants.
Okay,
That's all we have.
thank you.
When's your next meeting?
Our next meeting is August 11th, I believe is what it is. It's the second Wednesday.
Highway superintendent.
Okay. We have been working on the roadside mowing until the clutch bikers get on your tractor. Tractor's now with the piece to be fixed, unknown when we'll be getting it back. With the town board's approval, I would like to see if we can rent one for a week to finish up the mowing. The county has contacted me about it, and I informed them of what happened, and they understand, but are getting complaints about the roadside. We unplugged a culvert filled by the beavers on Hills Pond Road. It looks like it's their new hotspot for right now. Jimmy did some coal patching and filled some potholes on Carter's Falls Lane. Randy and Tyler went down to pick up the 2009 from wax. We replaced the culverts on Roberts Lane Phil's Pond Road is next, as soon as Joe gets his excavator fixed. We went down to Burdick Cemetery and cleaned up around the outside of it, cleaned out all the brush, and Tyler got John's old tractor and moved to the back. Tyler's going to create a place for the people to park and turn around. We hauled in some more gravel and got the rest of the cemetery mowed, started cutting brush and chipping on Galactica Woods Road, did some shared services with the town of Whitehall. Jimmy went over and helped them with paving. On July 7th, I was informed that Jimmy was involved in a serious motorcycle accident and was flown to Dartmouth Hitchcock Hospital. He has texted me and informed me that he'll be out of work for a while. He has a dislocated shoulder, fractured 7 rib, and severed his kidney. He's going to call me in a few days with an update.
Ouch.
Jim was in.
Just when we thought we had a good guy to stick around and do the work and
Jimmy came today.
Oh, he was here today? Oh,
No, he's in rough shape. He is moving. It looks like he's gonna be out for a while. The doctor's really worried about his kidney, which is obviously internal. His shoulder seems to be the problem. It is his left shoulder, so that's a good thing. He can still shift the trot. So, might go get him back a couple weeks earlier. But we're, this could be a long-term thing for a little bit. I talked to him Monday about Todd Mason will be back this winter. Todd also informed me last night that with all the storms we've had, with crazy weather, that ain't doing much fencing, so he would come if we had an emergency, which is a huge relief. Kind of wearing down my father a little bit. He's corrections 37 years, wanted to retire. He wanted to work, the whole 2-day pay period turned into 4 or 5, but we're lacking that CEO driver. And we spoke with Ken Luskin about paving. I told Ken we're not looking anywhere at the earliest mid-August. We're looking September, maybe late September. Haven't heard from the county, we haven't heard from the county yet, right, on the South Road project.
still waiting on that.
We'll probably jump on that one day, I asked her a little bit. So, without CDL driver, cutting shoulders and ditching doesn't get done, and that needs to be done before we take down there. Right now, I'd average our shoulders are 3 inches higher than the road. We can't have that. We need to be an inch below on grade. At the far ends, the tips of our right of way, we should be 3 inches below grade. And Herb's worked hard. We're trying to get somebody in here. Sadly, I've contacted a couple people, talked to me, and they're not getting out of bed for $100 an hour. So that's out of the question. Because we also got to watch ourselves. We set that example of a part-time guy coming in for 24. Well, then the example's 28, and then it's 32.
Oh, I agree.
And then it sets examples for all towns, you know. So that's where we stand there. Hickey Road. Why I'm late. Just got a phone blue. Blue says roller's ice. Last time to go. He just got back to me, which I felt horrible about. He's gonna contact me on Monday. And we both agreed there should be some stuff back. Sadly, the budget where we are this year, box on the truck, suction tractor, I don't see dust on it. I don't see us having a lane driver haul stuff in anyways.
well, I think we better reorganize that because we can use CHIPS money to buy dust.
Yeah, I can tell you there too.
Paving in September is probably no go. We won't have the cash flow to put out $100,000 to pay for the chip. We got to pay for the paving.
Well,
That's why we need paving done by August 15th so we can submit the bills. Because have the capital to last as long as, because then we get it back in September 15th. But after August 15th, it's going to be awful tight. I don't know where we're going to get the money to cash flow that.
how many outlaw truck drivers I got here?
I'm just being honest.
Um,
I'm just being honest. I mean, I'll work with them to run the numbers, but
I got a sharp CDL license.
if we don't get them paid,
I've had a class A for 15 years, don't you know?
if we don't get them paid by September 15th, we're talking about not being reimbursed till January next year. We
No,
can't,
we know
we
that's
can't let
the
it flash flow unless the board wants to spend $3,000 or $4,000 to find the money to pay for it.
I did tell Kenny, you know, we're looking. Ken's close to me, we talked, I said, let's talk. Let's throw it out there, if you got a paid date for second week August. He might not even have that, but at least that steps us in there. A miracle happens tomorrow when they get a driver. And we put all hands on deck, and I mean all hands, we might well get that cut out. And I'm gonna ask Louis for a little bit more of a favor, which I'm pushing it. If he'll come over with his excavator with the brush head on it, and it ain't gonna look pretty, but we're gonna cut the road back. Today the county came, got their chipper, so. Like I said, we get it 4th of July, and it's
Can you
gone.
open that door, please, Dylan? We're careful.
I think I spoke to that Monday. I always get a 4th of July week, storms come in, and sure enough, today they come in and said, we're coming to get our chipper. Well, now I'm back to, in a rough spot. And, me and Herb are trying to come up with some different plans, and I think that's that.
Okay.
I think all we do is just talk. That's about all we can do.
We had a 4-day plan this week.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Highway Department instruction, we'll talk about that later. We talked about paving plans, we heard the great news. There is a possibility that we have to use our rollover funds this year.
Yep.
We have to use not Pave New York, we have to use Extreme Winter.
Mhm.
Did you check on Pave New York?
Pave New York, we have to use.
Okay. So I don't know what.
We always use the EWR and Pave New York first, because we have to burn them up, because the CHIPS money is the only thing we can roll over.
Mhm.
That's why I always put them in first to get rid of them out of the way.
So all the money for chips, which is, I can't remember, what was 60 some odd thousand this year? 65?
We had altogether 117. And that's with what we put
We
in.
had 23 we put in.
Yeah, so take that, what do we got? Close to 80, 70,
80.
72, I think I remember.
9 was a rollover, so I
Yeah.
think the other two was, I think
72.
chips was 53. Oh, I got it someplace, no sense in remembering, but we'll have to look it up and see. But the chips itself, we can roll over next year.
Mhm.
But let's see what we can do. I'd rather do it this year if we can.
Well, I think probably the best thing we can do is any money that can't be rolled over, we start shimming.
That's what I'm saying.
And that might come into maybe talking to Mike Graham from Kingsbury and bring their paper over. Because greater shimming, you're losing a good 15 to 20% of your material unscattered with a grader.
He's got
And,
shim.
Mike's a good dude.
Yep.
So maybe we could work out something there, because it'd be much better to pave lake, or if we can get county over to the South Road, because they're gonna do that paving into that. At least if we shim on this end of that money, it's not money wasted.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can work out. Supervisory report, anything else? Sure.
No, and when we do pave, it will be Manchester Road from the corner of Radical Woods and as far back as we possibly can go. Around. Carver's
Should
Falls.
put from Carver's Falls
Carver's Falls.
intersection to the last paved.
Yep.
Pavement on Manchester, and that'll be Chapman Hill as well.
That's what our goal is.
Okay.
And then just something to throw out there, I know Artie probably knows how old that John Deere is. It's a 1971.
I went up to Pete's today and it's still sitting in the same exact spot.
You got no
Pete's
help.
all by himself.
86,
What's that?
86.
I tried,
Tractor, 86.
Yep.
Just had Josh there, numbers for Pete.
Oh, did you? I talked to Lenny this morning, he said that's in the 70s, but that's the first thing we ever. raised.
86, that was state contract. Gravel got one, Hartford got one, we got one.
and we still have.
That's 40 some odd years old.
We just
First
posted
thing-
it.
First major thing we've ever done to it, so.
Well,
No,
we're trying to hold on to that for, the only reason I'd like to replace that tractor, and the only reason would be, It's a good going tractor, is the safety aspect of it. That tractor doesn't have a seatbelt in it. And I don't know if you've ever mowed roadsides.
Little bumpy.
Well, you have a scare.
Especially if somebody hits you in the back end, you're going over the tractor, it doesn't have a seat.
But as far as right now, an equipment replacement plan, no, it's not in thoughts right now. That's, and well, the service records in the shop, that thing's oil change and fuel filters. I mean, the clutch going out of that, Jimmy was, oh my God, I said, Jimmy, the clutch is gone. The clutch has been high since I got here. We got an extra 7 years out of a bad clutch, so I ain't really complaining.
Is there anyone else that could fix that tractor?
There's gotta be other people besides Pete Turner.
Well, we got ourselves in position now, and we do have a new mechanic in town, John Anderson, who's running on the Armory in Whitehall. I graduated out of BOCES with John. He's a very good mechanic, certified in law. Sadly, with John just moving into a shop, and we couldn't wait an extra couple weeks, even though we're still in a dilemma, but still faster. So we kind of had to do what we had to do. Rattlesnake down there in Fairhaven, they won't even touch us. I've talked to him numerous times.
Who else Bukowski's?
Subways won't touch it?
Chris is mad at us. Because we wouldn't take that most for him. He's not there. We have options. But Pete's our go-to mechanic as of a few years ago, as far as what you guys said, we didn't have to really go and bid. So if we want to go back to bidding that, we can. But that also puts us, if the machine goes down the first of the month, we have those couple weeks before the board meeting. We did discuss the emergency code, but we don't want to exercise that all the time. But that's something that
Well, Pete's got his guy out, right?
He doesn't know how he's on the
He's
mechanic.
doing everything himself.
yeah, Pete's guy's out for 3 months, I think, and Pete's a little rough himself, so, we're in a predicament. I mean, I'm gonna ask Pete next week if this is something he can handle with his workload. I know he carries chambers, firearms and all them, which are very important to him. And if he can't, then we will think about transporting it to somewhere else.
Needs the clutch, is that what you're saying?
Fire, from my experience, it's clutch, there's nothing there. I mean, we might get in a few other things. I don't think we burnt too much else out in there. I mean, the clutch has been high for 7 years. I mean, we've just been babying that one along. So.
Can't you change it?
Not
No.
get anything else done.
No,
We don't have the equipment. in
I
the garage.
can't even, we went around the other day, we like,
How much do you have to change it? Are you gonna split it, push it apart?
I don't even have a stand even,
You don't even have a jack to push it on?
wouldn't be stable on it.
Really?
We drove around Saturday, me and my father, and I got 6.5 miles right now of brush that needs to be taken care of. Touches cars. Not counting if log trucks come through or anything else. 6.5 miles. Shimming, we should be shimming. Some way we can't. Now we're going into winter sand here pretty soon. Because now we're not doing the winter sand in November, putting up wet sand, cracks, hardening trucks. We're gonna be in August. Now we're short of driver again. We really need to cut back. We need to find a way to beat that balance of, okay, it costs us a little money, but our guys are working. I can't fill potholes. Herb's been working his days off with us, busting his butt to try to, run parts, do whatever, and we're behind. And we need to be out on the roads. We don't need to be chasing a wiring problem with the truck. I don't think we got any of that problem for quite some time between the two trucks. So we really need to focus on, when we make a decision on something, is a decision that's cheap today or more tomorrow. So, and get us guys back on the road. We should be on the road every day. Rainy days, yes, we will do some, this week's been a shot week, it's been good things, it's been positive outcomes, so.
How much do you think putting the mowers be?
Oh, we're gonna be. Probably clutch, pressure plate and all that, I'm gonna throw it at 1,000 because right now, with the tractor being that age.
No, I was saying, how much would it cost to lease one?
Oh, lease one?
Rent one.
Well, they gave us an idea the other day, right?
Yeah, we tried to, but they don't have any.
We're gonna look at,
How is it? More down here, want to change the clutch plate?
Barry, I can need it. Barry didn't answer a phone call for hydraulic hose.
That's me.
Capital tractor?
We have exercised a lot of work with capital lately, a lot.
Yeah, we can change the clutch plate.
That's, oh, we have, I mean, there's gonna be more options, it's just what we can get in there. Capital's out. Travis is 9,000 down there, he's out 6 weeks before he gets the tractor back for him. People are,
Nobody's working. Nobody's working because the government's giving them free money. More went out today.
You can look at the tractor dealership, the lots, there's nothing on them. There's absolutely nothing. You go up to the Kubota dealer up north of Rutland, they got one tractor, a round baler, and a mini excavator out front, and a handful of the 20, 30 horse tractors out back, and that's it, there's nothing else on their lot.
That's town line.
Anyone you go to, you know, Tractor Supply, but anyone who sells tractors, lots are empty.
our big heavy parts.
He's got 2 new ones and maybe a used one there. And
Well, you can't get no new stuff, but I'm talking about working in the shop, if you get new stuff.
find mechanics. I mean, everybody that I know is backed up for, I mean, you can get your car fixed.
Capital shortage of mechanics and all that, so.
It's talking about, you're just talking about the trucks and pavement. There's triaxles sitting when they should be all running. They can't get drivers.
My best friend's got 3 of them sitting there.
That's the only one. So.
No, I ain't gonna stay in business, not long.
Hmm?
They ain't gonna stay in business long if they're setting.
Oh, yeah, they're not, especially when they're famous.
Bingo.
Yeah. I mean, you be the only one running, you got 3 sitting, you're not gonna make enough money with one to cover the cost of 3.
Acquisitions, they got so many state contracts,
Well, that's for
their trucks are
part.
running on the state contracts. That's where the money is.
And that position we're in with canceling town trucks off to throw Freeman in when he comes in. Louis Pratt's not happy about that. You can't tell us to go get all the towns for shared services to bring in trucks and then kick our trucks off the job and bring Freeman in. It's not fair to us. It's not fair to a town to do a dedicated truck for that. And then sit there and act like those trucks were there all day. I mean, with that deal with Louis, I said, are they gonna take money off your bill? That's not, it's 68 tons delivered to the paver. You had truck shared service delivering it. What's the kickback there? No one knows anything. It's just, so we're all in a difficult, it's not just us, we're all in a difficult position with everything that the highway department is.
No. See what you do for, see if you can find something to rent for more or.
We rent a week for what we're gonna get paid, it's a wash.
I've been on the phone, nobody's got one, nobody rents them, no, we don't rent them, no, we don't have any.
Probably gonna come down to renting a whole tractor with a mower on the back, as sadly as it comes. There's a couple more phone calls we can make, that I'll make tomorrow. The worst part about that, the rental on tractor ain't bad, these companies are a little farther out, it's the trucking up, and it's bidded up. I call them, they say, okay, you can have a tractor, and then they get on the internet and whoever the cheapest guy was in 24 hours, that's who's gonna truck it up here, we don't know what it's gonna cost us. No, the cap, that's how they run now. Nobody has their own truck to shuffle their rentals.
Yep, they Uber.
Uber trucking.
Okay. Moving on to the supervisory report.
Looked it over when the Senate, looked it over here.
Mike, you had a problem, you had a question?
I just, what's on page? It's hard to see this way. I looked it on the computer. Yeah, so for the disbursements,
Which sheet are you talking about? The first sheet, okay.
General profit
So-
loss.
so it's $12,528 dispersed.
Mhm.
When I added them up over here, because it's this guy, right, 5,000 in this line. I came up with $12,197. So I was $331 off. And 7 cents. Yeah, these, isn't that plus this, and this, supposed to equal that? Maybe I'm just reading it wrong. I'll generally grab one part of the report and do it longhand, and see if it makes sense. I could have misadded, and I did it twice.
Well. So, in your profit and loss, your payroll taxes out there that may not have been paid yet.
Would we make it for that 33107, because I just,
And we will hold it out of their account. So it's in the cash, but it would be paid out.
as a disbursement, but
As-
not reflected in that
Correct.
line yet.
Correct.
That could be.
So then I can ask him, I was trying to run it up here.
Well, was it the other way that, I don't have it in front of me. Was it more here?
It was more
Yeah, because that
dispersed
would,
than.
so that could have been the 3 months, your withholdings, you only do
Right.
every 3 months, so that might have made it.
I just wasn't
3
getting
months
that up.
ago.
I just,
Yeah.
that was my question.
How much is it for 1 month?
Well, if you look at the general fund, you're really looking at disbursements were actually a lot more than that. Because you look down here, we also dispersed the fire protection for Hampton, fire protection for Fairhaven. But that comes out of different
That's
bank account,
Different one.
different bank account.
Right.
No, both of those went to Hampton. Nothing went to Fairhaven.
No.
I-
Oh, yeah, they're both fire protection.
Oh,
Well, he said Fairhaven, I'm just correcting him on
No,
that.
I was reading it down here, Matt.
It says it on there.
It says
Oh,
on
well,
there. I was
then
reading.
that needs to get corrected.
So 39,000, but part of that money came out of the fire one and fire two. So you had those 3 disbursements. So your disbursement should be, total disbursements should be 12,528.59 plus 21,648.5 plus 5,100 plus, which is 28,079. And then there would have been some disbursement for, there was some interest, there's some social security payroll expenses. But not submitted yet. We'll submit those quarterly. But I'll check with Ken to make sure I'm right.
Yeah, just check, and because if that's not how I should be checking it, I'll just look through it. And I just happened to grab that particular section to do, because I'm obviously not gonna add up the whole report.
You look at this, these are bank balances. These are your profit and loss
Right?
statements. So I'll check, should make sure I'm right, but I'm pretty sure I am.
Okay. So that was my question.
Okay. I'll find out. Any other questions or comments? Motion to,
I'll make the resolution to accept the supervisor's report as presented pending, well, not pending, but with the supervisor look into the discrepancy brought up.
I think it's more of a clarification.
The perceived discrepancy brought up. I won't say it's a discrepancy, it's just habits.
I was mostly asking for educational reasons, like I don't, there's a lot to this
I'll
report.
second it.
second by Tammy. All in favor?
Aye.
Carried. Okay, running on, full value tax rates. Took some, yeah, it wasn't supposed to be. What I really did was I took a look at, another report came down, which I have here in a minute. What I actually did was took, with the new reassessed values in Hampton, is what I did when I went down and looked at to see what the impact would have been on the new assessment. As we all know, the assessed value of town went from 63,263, excuse me. New assessed was 79,236,000, up from 63 something. And our tax rate for levy for this year is $4.72. If with the new assessment was used, the tax rate would have dropped to $4.02, approximately 15%, but that should carry over through all your taxes. County, school, fire. We're still raising the same amount of money, but you're just spreading it more, so it's just interesting. Because that started off when I started looking at a sheet, there's a big blue sheet that talks about where the towns were, and making that correction actually dropped us down into the lower third of the taxes collected in the town. So I'm just interested in statistic. And what the lesson is that we really need to make sure that we keep our assessed value at 100% and not let it slip. And even though it was 94%, that was sort of a misnomer because a lot of those in 94% were actually misassessed. And we had some houses that were, mine went up 40%. I was under assessed. I know there were some people went up 100, 150%. When you look at their properties, they had buildings they put up that were never reported when they were looking at it. So, and Vicki did spend a lot of time talking to people who called her about the questions about the taxes, and she was able to justify most of them. And there's a couple adjustments, but for the amount of reassessment we did, that was a pretty good number for her. I was not one of the ones that talked to her about my assessed value. So, stimulus funding county, we're using a lot to recapture what we had spent as a result of expenses and lost revenue for the pandemic. That's going to be about $3 million. There's another couple $1 million going other places, but we're going to try and take the balance of $6 million and invest in broadband. We are doing a study to figure out where the weak areas are. As I've said before, the only weak area we have is from here to from 18A to Vermont border. When we got a quote through that was $660,000. There has been a change that is not in place yet because the governor got to sign a bill that will bring that down substantially. What National Grid and New York State Electric Gas were doing was making people replace the phone poles to get permission to put something on and pay the full price. A legislator passed a bill that said you can't do that. You need to do it prorated based on what the replacement life of the pole is. You can't ride on these people. It is too bad that law wasn't in place 5 years ago. A lot of stuff would have been faster. So we are working on that. See what happens. Noise ordinance. I've talked to our attorney about noise ordinance. He's trying to put something together. I hope to have it tonight, but we don't have it in there. I basically asked me what do you want. I said, no, we just want a simple one that says that between the hours of such and such is that people have to watch the noise. And if they don't, they can file a complaint with the sheriff's department. So we're bringing that to do that. I I will say that one of the comments he made, he put one in place, probably not gonna solve your problem. Because, becomes his, he says, she says, but it does give some teeth to go to your neighbor and say, stop it, I'm gonna turn you in. Pardon?
I hear all that.
Pardon?
Could you repeat that, please? I couldn't hear all that.
I said, he's working on the ordinance, potential ordinance to bring before the board to consider adopting it. He said, that gives the ability to say people and the sheriff to write tickets. He said, realistically, they're probably just gonna go out and say, don't do this anymore, probably not gonna write a ticket. He says, when they put noise ordinance in place, he says, generally, it really doesn't solve the problem. So, but we'll do what we can.
Yeah.
So.
So just keep calling it in, I guess, huh?
That's all you can do.
But then that officer goes over and tells him, because he tells me afterwards, puts on Facebook, he said, I'm gonna, there's nothing I can do because there's no noise ordinance, have a fine day.
We're just trying to get one
We'll
done.
put one in.
Yeah,
But we're gonna put one in, but they're saying is, and then the officer's still gotta make a decision whether he's gonna write a citation or not.
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
You know?
at least you have more teeth. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so we'll see what happens. Moving on, I have a letter here in a packet. We are getting $94,749 from the stimulus from the American Rescue Plan. Half will be paid this summer. I'm told to be here by the end of July. Another 50% will be paid a year from July. I've looked at what we can use it for. When I first heard about it, I said, God, we can put another $100,000 in paving, 95, whatever it was. Unfortunately, that's one of the things we can't use it for. We can't use it for funding. We can't use it for equipment. We can't use it for transportation. I don't know why they made those rules, because to towns like us and every single town in Washington County, that's where we need it, is in broadband. So the amount we received is $46,374.50 by the end of July. My proposal to spend that is paving fund not reimbursed for chips, allowable expense. If we weren't funded fully for something by the state aid, it was withdrawn because of that, which is what they did, because we were told one number, they cut it down by 20%. We can reimburse that. So between those three numbers, 6, 7, 8, 9, probably what, 10 something?
Yeah.
10 something, $10,000 we get reimbursed for paving. Justice income, we will get reimbursed $96,508.94. $9,658.94.
96,000.
96,000, I'm hoping for that. $9,658.94. That's the difference between the revenue expected in 2019 and the same months in 2020 and 21, plus 104.5%. So we'll get that $9,658.94. So that will be reimbursed. We can use the money. Hall, what do you have Hall for?
Material media equipment for town hall.
Yeah, I shouldn't have Hall in there.
Hall shouldn't be in there.
That Hall shouldn't be in there. That's incorporated in the next line item of handicap ramp. That's before we figured out what the number would be for handicap ramp. Materials, meeting equipment, I have listed the things we bought from Staples for Zoom, for all the things we needed for COVID to meet the COVID requirements. That totals up for $2,029.45. We'll be able to get that back. Capital improvements to the public facilities, which is allowable expense. We will be able to get $11,900 for the labor plus $2,808 for, that's actually for materials. So roughly the total we get back is $37,701.65. We'll have about $8,062 for other expenditures. One of the things we can do, which we can talk about, is that we are able to prepare our town hall, or this is actually emergency center for the town. Prepare it for better air handling for the future. So if they have people and keep people in here, there's better air handling to move that around. Translation, we could put a good filtration air conditioner in here, which we can attach to our furnace, the hot air furnace. That's something we could think about. The two other things, we talked about putting a water
We could use
water softener
water's over.
over there.
You, it doesn't matter.
Filtration
Softener, it'll
system,
still
Water
be
filtration
there.
system.
You
Pardon?
need fresh water.
That's some rugged stuff over there.
Yeah, even a water softener's not gonna fix that.
Well, when they did the water test, I don't know what it is because I had him test my house at the same time. Is he said, this is one of the purest waters he's ever seen. He said he doesn't know why from here over there, it's getting the smell that you're getting over there. So we'll have to look at it. We'll have to have someone else look at it.
It doesn't even come off the windows of the truck.
Yeah.
That 2020 Western Star out there, you cannot get it off the mirrors. It is stained so bad on there.
What is it, sulfur?
I grew up with sulfur water. I
Or
mean,
is
it's
it
hard
hard water?
sulfur. It is hard.
I don't know. Run
It's
with
got
pipes
to
or what, I don't know, there's something.
You can go
No.
with a Brillo pad on your mirrors, and I mean, it don't come off. You're gonna scratch your mirrors, but I mean,
The only thing that we could think about was that we had so much water. They were all on an aquifer here. Is that what's happening is that the water was flushed out. So the rusty water is coming when the water settles in the wintertime. We just don't know. He was just surprised. He was amazed. Because we looked at the toilet had a rust in it. He tested the water, no rust.
But it didn't help much when the salt shed was right there and our well was right there. For the last 45, 50 years. Even though it's covered up, it's still.
Well,
the pile
it
was
used
here
to be
before.
right here before that.
I mean, the whole pile was right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
So
I mean, we'll take anything.
if I could just wash my trucks and don't have, I mean, they're stained. The windows, it's horrible.
The sink in there is,
we're amazed. I'll send you the test because you sent me the test results and we're both amazed.
First thing
Sat there
comes,
looking-
then we come in here, and go, what's wrong with your water? I said, what do you mean? Thanks.
you can't blame Sniffles, Sniffles is gone, we don't know where Sniffles went, Sniffles isn't around anymore. So,
The young lady up on Hills Pond Road didn't take him. I asked her.
yeah. We think
So
so.
at least we can
He was
look
here
into see
he
what
was
can be
here.
done.
in the morning and then in the afternoon, nobody can find him.
We can look into see what can be done about the water.
He had about 20 lights.
Yeah.
Funny.
So
You rode more dump truck frames around town and
Yeah.
that's my proposal. Next month we'll have to make firm decisions on it because we'll be able to take the money out of the bank account and put it where we need it. And actually, that improves our cash position, even paying off some of those bills, improves our cash position by about $20,000. So that's good. Cannabis opt-out. We deferred this. We were expecting to have a full board here tonight.
Do you remember what Andrew's position was on that?
I know,
I don't really there.
I can tell you she was for it.
well,
So mine.
I actually, and not to, I don't want to come off as just being this guy who has no heart or doesn't care about the community or whatever, but I was in Pownell this morning for about 5 hours resetting wine section in the major store down there. And talked to the owner who I've known for years, and he goes down to Massachusetts about 4 miles down the road, and he sits outside the infirmary or whatever you call it, and he watches the traffic and everything, because Vermont's gonna move to legalize it at some point in the not too distant future. And it might take another year or two, and he said it is a very nice, clean place. And the vehicles that are there are not what the stereotypical vehicles are. They're the there's doctors, there's lawyers, there's average Joes, but nobody is in there that's not shady. They only have certain operating hours, nobody smokes on the premise, there's nothing they can do there. And if everybody around us is opting out of it, why can't we have a decent little business in town? We have propane, why can't we have cannabis to go with it? They can get their lighters filled next door. I don't care.
I agree. I'd rather have a legal
Yeah.
place that's selling safe
State of Vermont.
cannabis
Yeah,
instead of having them grow it in a cornfield somewhere and God knows what it's laced with.
Or worse yet, have it come in from out of
Out
state.
of state.
When Lord knows who knows what in it.
But then
That's it.
also, it's gonna be a little bit more revenue for the town.
Well, absolutely.
That's a,
It's
you know,
another
that's
business.
a perk, yes, but it's not the reason that.
I understand.
It's not gonna make that much money for the town. That it's-
True.
You know, we're not gonna become rich off of this, but it's, if you can control what they are doing, you know they're gonna do it anyways.
That's
If
right.
you have a little control,
They're gonna go somewhere else and buy it. You might as well let them buy it here.
it's no different than the old days when the moonshine came in from somewhere else,
yeah.
and then they went back to
So-
selling it in stores, you know.
So I respect that position. I also know that if we don't opt out now, we can never opt out. If we opt out now, we could always opt back in. So my concern is that if we do have something happen, and it's not very, we can never opt out again. We'd have to permit it. So, you know, that's something to really keep in consideration. And quite frankly, I don't think a store here, even if it was on 18A, next to Greenfield Lane and Campbell Lane, I don't think it'd stop those people from growing in their own
it won't.
It won't, but
cornfields anyways.
it won't. People are always gonna grow their own if they want it that bad. But if you're gonna go somewhere and buy it, it's much safer, much cleaner.
And it's not
There's,
regulated with anything.
there's
That's
a ton
exactly
of
it.
people who travel from Rutland down in Massachusetts to buy it.
Yeah,
Some for sleep aid, I was talking with 2 people
some is for
today.
health benefits.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They use it to help them sleep, there's gummies they buy, there's so many different things, and I personally, I think I smoked marijuana twice in high school, and it wasn't for me. Oh, you know what? Put it in the paper, put it in the paper. But I haven't touched it, and it's nothing that excites me, so.
I know a lot of people who smoke that.
Every day.
They do.
And people aren't supposed to be smoking it.
More of my friends smoke than don't smoke.
Heard we need to take up this habit, they said good sleep.
Good sleep.
Happy,
Yes,
we're not miserable.
problem for you is you gotta take a pee test.
Yeah, I know.
That's a downfall.
Well, the people that got CDLs, they're smoking, they get caught, they're done, their CDLs are gone.
But
There's no question.
but we're not gonna govern.
Right.
No.
No matter
What you do, if you're supposed to or not, if I got tested and I had it in my system, I could lose my license. Not my driver's license, my livelihood.
Your nursing license.
But people are gonna do it, and that's the choice they make. I mean, I'm not gonna tell somebody with a CDL, I might say, you're not supposed to be doing that, but that's their choice. Just like drinking, it's their choice.
Everything is a choice.
You can't not do something just because you're afraid of somebody with a CDL is gonna do it.
And
That's
we
their
have the-
choice.
We have the ability to do it just selling or selling with on-site consumption, and we can agree to just one, which would be just selling. I
So,
would never agree to the on-site consumption.
No. no,
Well, wait a minute, on-site dispensary is one
uh-huh,
form. The other form is to smoke it.
that's what you
They
just
can't
said.
be in the same building.
No, but we have the ability to opt in for one and out for the other, correct? That's what the way it was explained.
I asked Matt Fuller about it, he's still researching to find out. He thinks that's the case, but he's not 100% sure. So I will make sure I ask him to.
When is our drop dead date?
We have to have local law, public hearings, everything done by December 1st.
So as long as we make sure it's on next month, hopefully we'll get something.
I will not be here next month. I can zoom in, but I will not be here.
That's fine, zoom in.
I'm
So-
bagging cows that night.
Unfortunately, by open meetings law, she can zoom in, but you can't count as a quorum, nor can you vote.
If there's, oh, she can't vote on. Then how did we vote on all the other?
Yeah.
Because they suspended open meetings law during the time of the pandemic. Now they put them back in place.
We can bring this to a vote. I'm opposed to this, and I agree with everything you're saying. I really don't care if people smoke pot or not, but I don't like pot. I think it makes people lazy, and I don't want it in my town.
I don't disagree.
So, I'm on the less opt out. We can come back in if we want, but but it sounds to me like if this comes to a vote, I'll lose. Because I know Tammy and Don, how they feel. I don't know, but like I said, if Andrea, if she was here, how she'd vote, you'd think she was probably for it. If that's the case, then there's no sense of delaying it, because unless you're gonna change your mind, I'm gonna lose that vote.
Tonight, you're not.
There's
a reason there's 5 people on the board, so it's not an even number, but tonight there is.
I always remember that talking to people who were addicts, is they all to a person said, they started on marijuana, there wasn't a good enough kick, they moved up to all the other drugs. That's what's got them there too. It's a gateway drug.
I'm not disagreeing with you, not at all. But I'd rather have them get a gateway drug that's clean and safe than a gateway drug off the street that's laced. Because that shit will kill you. This, is clean and safe. David, by saying opting out, you're not going to stop it. Face reality. I don't smoke it. I don't want to. But I know that it's a clean, safe product compared to what they could buy on the street.
So my problem with that is I feel like that I'm endorsing that behavior.
No, you're not.
Well,
It's a choice. Again, it's a choice. If I don't buy it in that store, I'm gonna buy it down the street. It's a choice. You're just giving them a safe place to buy it compared to a drug-laced place to buy it. That's the difference. It's a choice.
Okay, we'll bring it back next month. I got homework to do, so you're not down a dispenser, up down.
Well, I won't be here, but obviously you know how I feel. And if it gets voted on when I'm not here, I'm gonna be angry. I will.
But that puts us August, September.
For me.
September is still probably enough time to do the public hearing, and then
you don't have to have a public hearing to opt out, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
The local law to opt out. Local law, you have to have a public hearing.
Right, okay, like we did on park.
so September would give us still
So,
enough time
okay, we gotta make it,
before December.
I'm fine with that. If I'm set September,
We
we make
expected
the
5
point.
people there tonight. We got 4.
Yep. At some point, we gotta.
People's choices are people's choices. They don't count, it's their choice.
Yep.
We can't control that.
How would the vote go tonight?
I would vote against it.
Me too.
So it's a moot point.
If Andy was here, we'd have a decision.
Yep, we would. Yeah, so we would be.
Next month, we'll have a decision. We don't know who's gonna show up in September.
Well,
I'll be here.
Can't vote. I used to be here.
Okay, moving on,
I'll be a proxy.
moving on.
They're not getting this sort of what they want.
Constable Sheriff?
Constable Sheriff, I had some questions about, could we have a constable in town? And people are looking at what they call constables in Vermont, 2 different subjects. The reason why the town of Hampton ceased having a constable, and it goes deeper than this, is that they required them to go through the entire police academy training, which is like 40 to 42 weeks. Now, that's one thing. Second thing, we can't have a volunteer. We'll have to arm, train, and support them, and go on the payroll. We'd have all the insurances put in place. And I'll tell you what happened to Whitehall. Whitehall is down to 1 officer. They just trained a person. Young kid, he graduated with Bradley, I think it was, maybe before, maybe a little after, maybe 2 years after Bradley. Got his training, did his required 1 year, left, go to the sheriff's department. That's happened all over the place. The towns train them, the sheriff's department, and the state troopers steal them.
That's like a town job.
That's like a town job.
Yeah.
But I'm kinda mad. I spent 7 years here thinking I was gonna get a badge someday. I'm not gonna get a badge.
Oh, you're getting.
I'll give you a badge. I'll give you a badge.
Gold
You give me a
star.
badge.
But the problem is, and I talked to the sheriff
Big
about it,
hat.
I talked to the sheriff about it, he says, you have a huge liability. Having one person out there doing traffic stops. Traffic stops is the most dangerous part of police work, because you're never gonna know what you happen. We had a guy up here had a gun in his car. He was in an accident, probably couldn't reach his gun. But he had drugs in the car too. And the other problem, so to need backup and support, we are at the county level trying to hire more police officers for patrol work. But I can't see even pursuing the idea for those reasons. I mean, training is, I can't remember, thousands of dollars. If someone comes in here, we're paying them below what he can find, even Whitehall, go from here to Whitehall. That's the problem.
It's a non-starter.
And we have a sheriff, we just have to make sure the county builds him up.
It's just,
So I didn't want to cover that. I want to make sure people knew we did the research to look at it. I thought a couple people were going to be here to talk about it. That's why I brought it up and did the research. There is a neighborhood watch being potentially formed. There are 4 things that help reduce crime. The first is a dog in your house. The second, proven to be the best effective way. Number 1 is a dog in your house barking.
That's why I have one.
The second is a dog in the neighborhood.
We got some.
The third is, oh my God, third is police presence. The fourth, amazingly, is neighborhood watch. And not even have people trolling, having the signs around that say neighborhood watch. That's one of the biggest, those are the 4 biggest deterrents to crime. So I encourage that. I hope to support them. I hope they can pull it off and go from there. So I know if you look on Facebook, there is a group
I joined.
for,
Yeah, I don't know when their meeting is. I can't remember, but I know they're gonna be meeting, because I was asked to join. I know why I was asked to join.
they need a secretary.
Probably so I could be their secretary.
So, I mean, it's a good thing. I will tell you, I did some research. I had the sheriff pull statistics, and I had the judge pull the statistics. The judge, as far as she remember, can only remember 2 cases of breaking and entering in Hampton that were reported and went through this court. One was the recent one. They broke into 3 houses, I think. Well, the firehouse and 2 houses.
Yeah.
The other 2 houses were on 21, which is surprising.
And they were living in an abandoned house on South Road.
It's not an abandoned house. The taxes are fully paid on that property.
They had cows for neighbors
It's
because the
uninhabited.
cows walked in
It's
the back of the
uninhabited,
house.
correct.
Okay, so,
uninhabited.
Abandoned means people aren't paying taxes.
okay, so then uninhabited then. That's falling down.
Is it that red one?
Red one.
I've asked code enforcement to take a look at the house.
It's falling down.
You know, my
Well, the back of the
sister
house
broke
has
in
been
a
open forever. I don't know why they were stupid enough to break in the front door. All they do is walk around the back of the house. It's wide open.
Right? Basement's open.
Well, that's full of fox. There's foxes living in the basement.
Oh, there's
They
foxes.
watched. they
But
watched
when I
when she would
go
to work and they knew
Get
it.
the cows when they're over there, the cows just look in the back door. It's wide open. Why the hell would you break in the front door?
Didn't walk around her.
Stupid asses.
Well, there's a saying that, our instructors always tell us before you have to do forcible entry. It's called try before you try. You might be lucky. You might, when the door opens up.
There's no windows in the house.
So I'm gonna try and say this as serious as I can. I got email from someone over on 21. Said, why is the speed limit 55 miles an hour on 21? My truck says so. And then he said, it's funny because there's a 35-mile speed limit. Why does my truck say it's 55 miles an hour? It must be right because it's GPS. And I had the hardest time trying to convince him. It doesn't matter what your truck says. What matters is what the sign says. So.
You might correct the same brother. Okay.
So I mean,
GPS.
I thought he was pulling my leg for a while.
GPS is not right.
No, it's not right. So we are gonna look into, there are places where it's 55. We will ask the state, whatever the state says in 2 years, the state will say in 2 years. But, there is some sections of 21 that probably shouldn't be 51, 55.
Did you change county 11 at the same time? They go 55 down there, I tell you. It's probably.
I will tell you that most of those gonna
They
be,
started Jackie Sawins and they raced straight down there.
the problem is not the speed limit.
It's the people.
It's the people, I know.
Speed limit.
It's
only
a
keeps
lack-
honest people on.
Lack of ability to enforce.
That's exactly right.
But I don't even think there's a speed limit sign, so they don't know.
If it's not
Not
posted,
not
it's
posted,
55. That's
right.
what the rule is.
It's not posted.
And then they did do a speed trap on, not a speed trap, but speed sign. And on Route 4,
Yeah.
there were 6 people went over 99 miles an hour. They figured that what that happens, they see the sign, so they want to see how fast they can go. Pass that sign.
Oh, one of the digital ones.
Yeah.
Well, it is
Digital ones.
flat.
Yeah, we have farmers on tractors.
We also double checked that.
You get excited when it breaks
We went
law.
through there every day and it was recording 3 miles an hour higher than real.
That's assuming that your speedometer is correct.
Well, all of us, all our people that all go by there every day.
Still assuming your speedometers are right.
They're all wrong.
They don't stop for 10 miles.
But see, that, all that did was make them slow down, so then they went slow past Patch, which was good.
And actually, the sheriff said the problem was the people who were going under the speed limit were creating more problems than the speeders.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Because
because
you
now
have to
they want to
pass
pass everybody going up the hill, the other people, to pass all the people going slow.
That's right. That's why there's 55 mile an hour speed limit. If people go
Right.
55, you don't have a lot of these issues.
55 is okay, 65 or 75.
Some people,
is
some people are going 25 miles an hour. Quite a few
It must have
people.
been a buggy.
No, buggy can't do 25 miles an hour. All right, enough of that.
Yes.
Any public comments? Okay. I'm going to ask the audience to pay bills.
Make a resolution to pay the bills.
Motion is by Mr. Sadie to pay the bills,
I'll second it.
second by Mr. Patrica. All in favor?
Aye.
I carry. I'm going to go into executive, I'm going to ask for a motion to go in executive session for matters related to personnel, specifically potential hiring of an individual. I will say that we'll be coming out of executive session and there will be no action, public action taken after we come out of executive session, so you can go home. Okay?
I'll make the motion to go into executive session.
Motion by Mr. Patrica, second by Ms. Casady. So thank you all for coming. Travis, you're ready to start?
Thank you.
And Tyler, if you give us a few minutes.
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh, you gotta shut windows and.
Nice to see you.
Yeah, doesn't matter. You know?
We show cows in Rutland and Thursday I'm bagging cows for a show on Friday. So we change meetings when you had ball games and whatnot. So,
You want to get the one behind you?
huh?
We're not zooming in, right?
Yeah, it is
I
hot.
gotta shut Zoom off.